I am joined today by my magical friend Victoria. She is here to talk about all things energy healing, spiritual development, quantum healing, inner child healing, all of the different woo-woo witchy metaphysical things. How are you doing today, Victoria?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. What are you most excited for today?
Really just to be me and talk and chit chat and be able to, explain who I am, what I do, why I do it, all that fun stuff.
Yes, we're gonna go on a journey of discovery together. So I know that I would love to hear. I've heard before, but it's always fun and new perspectives and where you're at in these different chapters of your life. I know that I would like to hear, and other people would like to hear. What is it that inspired you to go towards energy healing and spiritual development in the first place?
Oh my gosh, what a incredible question. I have so many different ways I can answer.
I know it's a very big umbrella.
It is.
Yes.
So honestly, like I have always wanted to help people. That's been kind of, well, there's no kind of, that's just been a constant throughout my entire life. I didn't think it was going to end up being energy healing. Initially I thought it'd be somewhere like in the medical field, like maybe a veterinarian or a doctor. I've very much always been a person of service, and I knew that I wanted to serve other people. But I pursued, the traditional career paths of, going down more the medical side through college and this, that, and the third. And, when I got to college, I was like, well, I actually don't really like math or hard sciences.
Same.
So pre-med or, anything in that line, um, that doesn't feel right for me because while I want to help people, that's not where I thrive at. So I had to like repivot. So then I went into public health, which is more of like community based health procedures, looking at health as a community overall, not just an individualistic facet of health. And I thought I wanted to do epidemiology, which is the study of like viruses and outbreaks and all of that fun stuff, because it sounded super exciting and super interesting being able to help people in that capacity. And then I took epidemiology, and it's a ton of statistics
Wow.
and more
The math.
math. And I was like, no, this ain't it either. So, I kind of like beat bopped around for a couple of years, several years, doing service industry, I worked as a barista, I worked as a bartender, I worked as a waitress, all of these things very customer facing because I do have a very like happy and bubbly and uplifting personality. But I found that even though I was being of service in those fields, the exchange and how I was actually able to help people was very, very limited. And I just felt like something very deeply was missing within me. There was a level of satisfaction that I wasn't hitting in any of those roles. And it was like I just kept bouncing around from thing to thing to thing, looking for that career, that job, that experience that was going to scratch that itch that I was craving so badly. And throughout all of this, I was also on a self healing journey because I did experience a variety of adverse things that ended up impacting my mental health and physical health growing up. And even to this day, I'm still working through some facets of these things. Um, and I'm now in a place where I've come so far and helped myself enough that I am now in a position that I can help other people. And through my journey of self healing and self discovery, that's how I discovered energy healing and the fact that I am an energy healer. It was through my own self work and my own journey that I discovered I am a healer. I've always been a healer. That's something that just is never going to change. It is innately a part of who I am. I am here to help people, and I am here to be of service to people in a much different capacity than I could have ever anticipated.
That's beautiful. Do you think that when you are supporting people in their lives that it's scratching that itch that you're looking for of like, this is not quite right. All of these things over here, but now this is right over here.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. So as you know, I recently participated in a convention
Yes,
as
your first spiritual convention. I would love for
yes,
you to tell people
my
about that because there's probably so
first.
many people that want to do that and they're like, eh.
Yeah. So that was a absolutely incredible experience. The week leading up to me signing up for it, I was going back and forth like, am I going to do this? Am I not going to do this? And my intuition kept being like, you know, this is your opportunity to really like step in,
Like,
you
girl, you
know.
better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna talk about it, you're gonna be about it. Is it
Yeah.
time? I think it's time for you to be about it. And so I kind of fought it for a little while, and I negged myself out for a couple of days, and then one of my friends actually messaged me and was like, hey, so there's that rave we were supposed to go to. I got the dates wrong. It's this day. We already have tickets. Are you still coming? And it was at that moment I had to make a decision.
Ooh,
Was
timeline split there.
exactly. And I saw it. I saw the fork in the road and I was like, this is it. If this is
Yeah.
the life that I want, this is the opportunity that I have to jump on. It is time for me to step into this role and to be unafraid of who I actually am and putting myself out there. And so I did. I did the thing. It was scary at first. I had a panic attack, but it's fine. We came back from it. There were lovely people there, and I was able to find someone who helped me work through it. And I came back down. I woosawed, and everything was fine. I survived. And it ended up being one of the best things I could have ever done for myself because the connections that I made, the people that I got to help, um, me signing up for the convention really wasn't about making money. Like I had someone tell me like, oh, well, your goal should be to make back the money that you spent for the booth. And I was like, I hear you. And I'm not actually going to do that because then my focus isn't on helping people. It's on trying to tally up this expense. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people. So, me setting that intention allowed me to draw in the people who really needed my help. And I ended up helping a lot of people who suffered with chronic pain. Um, there was one lady actually, she was so sweet, first of all.
Oh.
So sweet. But she has suffered with chronic like sinus issues her entire life. Not to go too much in depth, but basically she hasn't been able to smell or really breathe out of her nose for the majority of her
Yeah, it's gonna be
life.
frustrating.
Very much so. And the medical field had always told her, like, well, this is just your life. This is normal for you. And
Giving diagnosis that can't be changed. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, 100%. And after I worked on her, she was almost in tears. And she stood up and was like, I cannot thank you enough for what you've done for me. Like I can breathe. For once in my life I can breathe and I can smell. She's like, I had sinus surgery like a couple days ago and that didn't fix anything like I was told, but whatever you just did, thank you so much. Like this is life changing. And I was like, it's happening. Oh my
Those are the best words you can hear from someone. Yeah. Oh, you
goodness.
changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a really good instance of me being able to see like what's actually possible for me and just how good things can get if I'm willing to be afraid and still do the thing anyways. Because I think where a lot of people get hung up is in the fear. Because everyone thinks like to achieve your dreams and to, be the person you want to be, you have to be unafraid. You have to be so courageous that you don't feel fear. It's not about not feeling the fear. You can't deny yourself the fear. Fear is a very real part of the human experience. We're not meant to ignore the fear. You have to embrace it, tell it it's okay, remind yourself that you can do hard things and still move forward with it and do it anyways. That is the only way to move through fear, is to hold its hand courageously and say, it's okay. I got you. you got me. We're going to do this together and we're going to feel so much better afterwards. And you do. And it is one of the most empowering things I can recommend to people. And this is coming from someone who's like very, or has been, I do not claim that anymore. This is coming from an individual who was prone to a lot of procrastination based off of fear and perfectionism. So it was a really great opportunity for me to not just prove to myself like how innately healing comes to me, but also just such a good anchor point, like we've talked about, of this is something I can do, and this is a really empowering thing for me. And moving forward, this resets the bar of what I'm capable of so that I can continue to push and level up and grow.
That's amazing. I think that you have really shifted in, like when you were talking, I could see that you have not only shifted figuring out that confidence is something you get after you do the thing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something I tell people all the time. I'm scared anytime I do anything. Like, I've been doing it for a long time and I still get super nervous, but I've gotten used to that and like pushing through. But what I can see in your field is not only have we shifted into being a really courageous person, but now you can mentor people who are on that precipice point of, I don't know if I can do it. Like, girl, yes, you can. I did it. You can do it too. Okay, I'll hold your hand. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we got it.
Yeah.
How does it feel to step into that role?
Oh my gosh, it feels incredible. Like, so before the second day, or like the morning of the second day of the convention, like I was literally in the shower, bawling my eyes out because I was like, it's here, it's finally here.
Hmm.
The life that I've always wanted. Like, this is the start of the rest of my life as this person.
Hmm.
This is, I did, like, I took the step forward through the door, through the portal, and now we're here. It's finally here. I am magic. I have always been magic, and I can do hard things. And it's my turn to build a life around my magic and see just how good it can actually be.
I love that. I think that a lot of us neurodivergent, multidimensional persons have experienced a lot of quote unquote hard things in life that never feel like they really fit, like you were speaking on. But then when you start getting into energy healing, if that's part of your template, that's like literally the easiest thing that you could ever do. It's literally so easy.
Yeah, it actually is.
Is that something that you noticed when you were, let's say, comparatively to a 3D job that we have had, compared to being at a spiritual expo with your people that you're on the same wavelength and, supporting them with like quantum healing? How was that in juxtaposition with one another?
Oh my gosh, it was afterwards I was like, I could do this all day long.
Yeah, every day, all day. Yeah.
So it was really, and I did think about you because I know we've had conversations previously about like how, it's the 3D stuff that has been normalized that are some of your quote unquote like hardest lessons. And then when it comes to the more like spiritual energy work, like that stuff is a breeze. You just have to make it through enough of the 3D stuff to believe in your magic and believe in yourself so that when you get to that point, it's like breathing. You don't even have to think about it. It
Mhm.
is so easy to just do and be that version of you.
Speaking of being that version of you and being authentic, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is why do you think it's important to be a silly goose?
Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, nothing in life is that serious. So
Oh, that's the
putting all
facts.
of this pressure and stress, you are just making yourself more uptight than you need to be. And this is coming from someone who, again, I don't claim this. I used to be this way. I used to be very, very serious, very uptight, very reserved. One that holds your body in a very high stress. It raises your cortisol. It throws your nervous system out of whack and it throws you into fight or flight or survival mode, which you can't have fun. You can't enjoy life. If you want to be a conscious creator of your life, you can't do that from survival mode. So take a deep breath. It's okay. Whatever it is, I promise it's not that deep. It might seem like it in the moment, but maybe go for a walk, have a snack, feel into what your body needs, recenter, and then come back to it. And I promise it's not going to be that stressful. But it's kind of, going back to, oh my gosh, brain fart. The train has left the station.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know
okay.
where I was going with
It's
that.
okay. Yeah.
Question one
Uh,
more time. The
what
ADHD is
what would you tell somebody who is really ready to break out of their shell? Like they know that they have a really big personality that's full of love and joy and magic and whimsy and sparkles and fairy magic and unicorn energy and all these things, and it's busting out of the seams, but they've been experiencing some kind of like people pleasing and masking, but they know it's ready and it's time to shift into their real self.
Okay, so I'll answer this with a download that I had on one of my self-care walks. This was during my period of like contemplating, like, am I really gonna do this? Like, am I gonna step into the like, am I actually ready to do this? And my higher self came in and was like, how are your people that you want to find, have been wanting to find for so long, supposed to find you if you're hiding? If you're playing small, if you're over here trying to hide and not letting all of your radiance come through, how are your people supposed to find you? Not just your like soul family and friends and loved ones, but how are the clients, the people, the lives that you are meant to impact? How are they supposed to find you if you're hiding? No one
Mhm.
can see you if you're down here like this, playing small. You got to take up space. You have to shine. You have to be radiant. You have to put yourself out there. And that can be scary because other people are going to have perceptions of you, and what other people think of you has nothing to do with you, because everything that they have perceived about you, while it may be based off of what you are presenting, their interpretation of it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their trauma, their headspace, their environment. So you can't you can't play small to make other people happy. Something I've learned is the concept of 33. So 33% of people are not going to give a flying flip-flop about you. Is you're just not their cup of tea, and they don't like and they don't hate you. And that's fine. That's one chunk. Another 33% of people are going to hate you. Just straight up, you're going to trigger them to the depths of their core and they cannot tolerate you. And again, it has nothing to do with you. It is 100% them and their baggage and their business. Okay. And then you have that other 33% of people who absolutely love and adore you and love to see you shine. Worry about that 33% of people and forget about the rest, because there's nothing that you can do to change that. Some people just aren't your cup of tea, and it goes both ways. And that's something that's really helped me be more secure in myself. That, and I just know that the world is so serious and so doom and gloom. And yeah, the darkness is part of the human experience. And eventually, we always come back to the lighter side of things. That's just, life is a pendulum. You
Hmm.
swing back, you swing back. And the level of depths and darkness that you've gone to yourself are directly correlated to how highly the pendulum then swings again back into the light and to the other side. And by swinging through both, you're able to anchor more into who you really are and who you're meant to be. All of the people pleasing and the masking and all of the like quote unquote hard things that we went through as, you know, empaths, light workers, energy healers, neurodivergent persons, it doesn't seem like it in the moment. And this is going to trigger some people, because some people aren't ready to hear this. But all of those things were preparing you for walking the path of who you actually are. And I say this in full confidence now, seeing how every single hardship that I experienced up until now has prepared me for this moment and this version of me. And there are even still some things in my past that I haven't seen the come
Through that
through
perspective
yet.
lens. Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen, the link hasn't been made yet because I'm not there yet. I'm not at that step where I need that medicine for this step. But each of those hardships molded me, served me, and gave me the medicine that I needed to help other people and to help my people. So you can't be afraid of being who you're meant to be and being truly you, because you are perfect exactly as you are. And you are needed exactly as you are, not pretending to be someone else for the sake of, pleasing or placating anyone else. It's entirely about you and the collective that you are meant to be of service to. If that's the collective that you're called to, of course. It's not, for everyone, but those who feel like they are called to be of service, your darkest times will be your most potent points of alchemy and greatest medicines for yourself and for others.
It's a beautiful message. One of the most liberating points, which isn't something that I recently reached, was saying, I am perfect how I am right now. It doesn't matter what's going on, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's positive, negative, neutral, like who I am right this second is perfect. And that is what I realized was true authenticity. Not striving to express myself more, but being exactly who I am right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the offerings that you have for people in the collective.
Okay.
Okay. So you do quantum healing, energy detox sessions, chakra recalibrations, and inner child healing. So I would love for you to talk more about those.
Yes. So I offer a variety of different sessions, kind of just depending on like the scale of which, an individual needs. So I have the more lighter end of things where we kind of just tune up the energy body with the quantum healing, hit any spots that really need a little bit of TLC, a little bit of love.
Hmm.
Like a little hot shot of
Like the
healing
woman with
for
her
the
sinuses.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I offer a more in-depth version of that where it's like I call it my total body like R&R, like rest and relaxation. So I go in, ground the person, because if you've not experienced energy work, it can be very disorienting, or if you're not a grounded person's, that can be very it can make you real dizzy, make you
A
feel like
real
you're
loopy.
spinning. Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very loopy because I'm bringing very potent energy into
Hmm.
your field. So I always ground people out so that they, feel safe in their bodies and that they're safe to receive. And then I go through the system. I recalibrate the chakras going all the way up through the entire system. Well, I say the entire system, not the entire system, because we actually have thousands upon thousands of chakras, but I work with the major seven unless I'm called to work with specific other ones. Like there's a couple of lesser known ones. Like we actually have six below our feet, the main one being the Earth Star, and then there's five in between that and the bottom of your feet. Then you have, your regular seven. You have two on the palm of your hands. So if you're an energy healer, those are especially active. There's also one at the base of your neck on your back here. It's called the mouth of God. And it actually kind of connects into all of the other chakras. And then above the crown, we have several more above that. Like there's, I think, three to five in between the crown and then the soul star, which is what really connects you to the higher self. But most people just work with the crown, which is fine. Different strokes for different folks. There's no you know so we go through the chakra system. I work on the chakras that need tune up. I focus heavily on the ones that I feel called to work on, just kind of feeling into that person's system and where I'm feeling like denseness and blockages. And then once I've tuned up the chakra system, then I go in and open up all the lymphatic spots where a lot of lymph is stored and has really been blocked up. So I open all of those and I drain all of that out. And then I
Like
do
mucus and built up energy and like
mhm,
toxins and microplastics.
all of that lovely, lovely stuff. Yes. And we get all of that cleared out, send it back into the earth so that it can be transmuted and Pachamama can use it for something something wonderful. And then I do one more Passover, and I go through and clean out the meridians, which are the like energetic highways that carry chi or prana, and just go through, transmute any blockages that are there, flip them from like really dense energy, and kind of like it's like undoing a knot is how I picture it. Like there's this
Hmm.
like literally like a knot in rope. And I
You
just work on it
gotta get
until
in
it
there.
goes
Yeah.
and it undoes itself and then we just wash everything out and it's really really restorative. The clients that I have done this on, they're like, wow, I feel like a brand new person. So that's why I call it my total body R&R, because it's hits a little bit of everything that usually impacts like chronic pain, inflammation, all of those things that just don't make you feel stellar in your body. And then I do offer the more in-depth sessions. They are remote healings though, because I'm able to go much, much, much deeper into a person's field when I'm doing it remotely versus talking to someone on Zoom or face to face. It just allows me to get deeper into the field because when you're talking to someone, you have to deal, or not deal, but you have to work through the mental projections. With a remote session, I can go straight to the root. So I astral project into each chakra and then work through things. Sometimes it is a little bit of inner child stuff. Sometimes it's, I mean, there's no telling what can be up in there. Sometimes it's whimsy. Sometimes there are dragons. Sometimes there are gnomes. There was one time I astral projected into my own root chakra, and I saw like myself as Ariel on the rock, where Sebastian's singing the Under the Sea
Hmm.
song, and she's like, "But I don't want to be here. I want to go up there."
Hmm.
And so I had to work with her and explain to her, like, it's okay to be present in where you are safe, and had to really work with her to recalibrate the beliefs around survival and being in the body, because that was a big thing for me at that time, was just not wanting to exist in those lower chakras, because the upper chakras, they are so much fun. The lower chakras are the ones that people sometimes, not always, bypass or neglect, just because your upper chakras are the psychic abilities, the psychic senses, all of that fun stuff. And 3D stuff for some people can be a little bit boring, but what people don't know is the more rooted and grounded you are in those lower three chakras, the higher you can go because your foundation is solid. So that's my little chakra in-depth recalibration. And then the last offering that I have, again, a remote healing session. I will tune in to my clients' Akashic Records, specifically with the intention of working on inner child healing. Specifically, this is most of the people that I call in for this are people who have inner children who they've not been able to foster a relationship with. So it's a really good initiatory session for people looking to get more into inner child healing, inner child reparenting. I act as the bridge between who they are now and who they were as children so that they can then continue to develop that relationship. So it's a good, like I said, initiatory process and session to begin working with your inner children. Because my goal specifically in this session is I am just opening the door for you so that you can be sovereign in your own ability to heal yourself. Because while it's important to receive help when necessary, the greatest healer for yourself will always be yourself. and no one can save you except for yourself, especially when it comes to inner children. They need you much more than they need something outside of themselves.
Absolutely. And inner child healing to me is kind of going back in line with what you were talking about with the bottom three chakras and how it's important to really have a good foundation because most of the behavioral patterns and triggers and feeling stuck in life and dissatisfaction or just blockages that one experiences comes back to inner child healing. So if you open
Yeah,
up those pathways, it makes it so much easier to move forward because we know where it's all coming from and now we have direct access to them to help them heal.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Well, where can everybody find you to follow you on socials and then also book sessions? And I'm going to put it down here in the notes as well. But if
Perfect.
you want to
Okay.
share.
Yes, absolutely. So I just built a website. It does have booking in-house. The website is it's a lengthy one. So it'll be below if you if you are a visual person and not an auditory person. But the website is Sacred Synergy Healing Embodied.com, and I offer all of my sessions there. If you are a referral from Sage's community, I am doing special promo for you guys and knocking some of the price off. So, just a little thank you to you guys for being here, for seeing me in my radiance and wanting to work with me.
Beautiful.
And then my Instagram, I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. My TikTok is a little more silly goose energy.
We love silly goose.
Uh-huh. But on all three, it's just Sacred Synergy Healing.
Perfect. And then again, I will have that all below. So for our visual person, you will
Yes.
be able to find everything. If there is a message that you want to send everybody off with for their day today, what would that be?
The best medicine is found in the things that you don't want to do. And that's something that I
Facts though.
that's that's been a big one for me. And that can be as big or as small of a mundane task as, like there's no level to it. Like it comes in all forms. It can be as big or as small of a task, but all of the things that you are avoiding, whether it's like big things like deep cleaning the house, doing your taxes, all of these things you have a pain associated to it, and that's why you're not doing it. It's super super crucial to rewire the pain into seeing the pleasure of what you will receive by accomplishing this task. If you struggle with procrastination, that is the best piece of advice I can give you because it has helped me move mountains in my own life. So that's my little bit of wisdom for you guys.
I think that's great because that stuff be taking up a lot of energy in your fields, and then you got to connect with future you and be like, oh, they're over there and they feel so much better and they're thriving and they just had to get through the icky, yucky parts and they're doing so much better over there. So I'm gonna head towards that. Yes.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, thank you, Victoria, for joining me today. This is absolutely lovely. It brought me so much joy, your laughter and just positivity and silly goose energy. So I'm gonna carry that with me throughout my day today. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. I cannot lie. My inner children were 100% nervous before this because school and anxiety around testing and perfectionism and, all of those things. But again, it comes back to like knowing where it stems from and being able to be there for yourself and comfort those inner children and say, hey, it's okay. I got you. It's not a test. It's not that serious. Nothing bad is going to happen. We can do this. And we did.
A living, breathing testament of walk. What is it? What is the phrase of I can't remember. Is it following through with that? What you say you're gonna do,
Hmm.
and then getting the results from it, and then being grateful.
Walking the
Yes,
walk, not just talking the talk.
that's it. You got it.
Yep.
Okay, you read my mind.
I did.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Victoria, and we thank everybody.